The year 1953, just after the Hungarian Revolution has failed. In this era, neighbors, friends, even family members could be informants for the Soviet-backed government. We are introduced to Andris, a young secret agent working for the new regime's intelligence agency. His neighbors think he is a German language teacher. At his apartment, he has a list of agents who visit him very often and report any sign of dissent or opposition. Shortly after, he is visited by an informant who has recently been hired. Andris shows his demeanor to be super strict when it comes to work. Later on, while he is cooking lunch, someone breaks into his apartment and he sneaks up on him. Andris quickly disarms him, but we find out the man is actually his supervisor, Marco, who is like a father figure to him. After taking a look at all his reports and schedules, he invites Andris to dine with him and his wife since it's Christmas. As he is leaving, he gives Andris a gift, which he hangs on his Christmas tree. Little does he know his agency is watching him from an apartment across the street. They've bugged his entire apartment, monitoring every conversation and movement. Unknown to him, his own agency is putting him on a loyalty test. Marco oversees the test, with agents, friends, and Kulshar assisting. The team watches as multiple informants visit Andris's apartment to report their neighbors' movements. Andris remains strict and professional. Everything appears to be going smoothly. Convinced of Andris's loyalty, Marco prepares to finalize the test and return home for Christmas. But then, an unknown young woman arrives at Andris's door, leaving the team baffled. As our young agent seems to be suspicious, Marco decides to speculate a little further. As you probably guessed, they start making out as soon as she steps inside the house. After that, the girl, whose name is Eva, invites Andris to spend the rest of the evening with her and attend a play at the theater, but our boy rejects the invitation, saying he has work to do, which frustrates Eva and she leaves in anger. Marco, watching everything from across the street, orders one of his agents to follow the girl. Back at his apartment, Andris makes a cryptic call to someone named Chapo. He instructs him to deliver the package to the agreed location in 1 hour, and that he will collect it personally. Unaware of Chapo's identity, Marco's team immediately intercepts the call, tracing the phone number and pinpointing the location. As Marco reaches for Kulshar's notebook to record the details, he unexpectedly finds himself staring at a child's drawing, a tender sketch from Kulshar's daughter. After finding Chapo's location, Marco chooses Kulshar as his partner for the operation. During the drive, Marco breaks the silence, asking about the drawing. Kulshar's grip tightens on the wheel, and he responds that she is sick, lying in a hospital. As they arrive at the location, they run into Chapo, who panics and bolts, but the out-of-shape informant is easily caught by Marco, who subdues him effortlessly. Back at the surveillance post, agents watch as Andris departs for the rendezvous point. One operative radios Marco with the update, only to receive an additional order. Marco asks the agent to find out which hospital Kulshar's daughter is staying in, showing how suspicious the colleagues are among each other. Trust is clearly in short supply within their own ranks. Marco drags Chapo to a secure safe house, seizes the package meant for Andris, and tears it open. When Chapo resists revealing the drop location, Marco starts beating him up and finally extracts the information. Marco and Kulshar deliver the package themselves, keeping Chapo as captive. Right on schedule, Andris appears, takes the package, and leaves. Back home, when Andris finally opens the package, his blood runs cold. There is Eva, captured in a photograph, holding a machine gun. As it turns out, she was a revolutionary fighter and is considered an enemy to the government and the agency he's working for. Meanwhile, Marco questions Chapo about why Andris asked for information on Eva and never revealed it to the agency. Chapo says Andris wanted to know who Eva was, so he asked Chapo to dig up her background. Chapo discovered her true identity. She had killed several secret police officers, just like Andris, during the revolution. Worried about his student, Marco decides not to tell the agency anything and orders Kulshar to do the same until they fully understand the situation. In a predicament, Andris fears he might be spied on. He pulls his curtains shut and searches the house for bugs. After a while, he finds one hidden inside his phone. Nervous, he checks his drawer, only to discover with horror that the agent's list is gone. He frantically flips through his books on wiretypes and identifies the bug in his phone. The book states these devices have a maximum range of 200 meters, indicating the spies must be very close to his apartment. Marco realizes Andris has discovered the bug. The drawn curtains and switched off lights are exactly what he taught him to do in such a situation. Andris scans the streets. All the apartments appear normal except one, with its lights off. Gripping his gun, he moves straight forward towards it. Not wanting to reveal the test, Marco orders an agent to stay at the door, pretending to be renovating the house. When Andris arrives at the site, he is suspicious, since it's New Year's Eve and nobody is working at this time, so he takes out his gun and asks why he's spying on him. Just as the two are about to engage, one of the neighbors asks Andris to leave the building or she will call the police. Not wanting any more attention on him, Andris decides to leave, but before he gets to his apartment, he's secretly intercepted by Marco, who warns him he's being spied on by their enemy and to be careful. After revealing the agent's list is gone, Marco slaps him in the face and orders him to go back to his cover and call the girl. When Marco gets back, his wife is calling him, asking where he is and not to arrive late on New Year's Eve. Marco assures her he will arrive on time for dinner. Andris calls Eva, telling her he misses her and asking if she can come over, to which she responds yes. Marco intercepts the call and finds the location to be just outside the building. So he rushes down the stairs, sees Eva and chases after her. After catching up to her, he pulls his gun, asking who she is and who she's working for. But just then, Kulchar intervenes, saying she is an agent working for them and that she is part of the test, tasked with stealing the list. Kulchar then says he is in charge of the test now and shows Marco a letter of authorization. Kulchar orders everyone to proceed with the test and see if Andris will break his cover and fail the test or not. Eva arrives at the apartment and the couple start having dinner as the agents observe them. But Kulchar receives a call from the hospital saying his daughter's condition is deteriorating. Marco tells him to go to the hospital and that he will oversee the test and report to him directly, so he leaves. Andris and Eva are having dinner, after which they start to dance, but Andris can't control himself and blows his cover by demanding who she is working for and why she took the list. Eva denies it, of course, and Andris gets violent, knocking her down while shouting he saw a photo of her with a machine gun and knows she had a part to play in the revolution. Listening to all of this, Marco says if this continues, he will call off the test. Eva, still in denial, gets up, picks up a nearby doll that Marco gifted Andris at the beginning of the movie and throws it against the wall, smashing it to pieces. To their shock, there is another bug inside. Andris immediately draws the curtains and destroys the bug. With the audio cut off, Marco decides to intervene. When he enters, Andris draws his gun, accusing Marco of spying and revealing that Eva told him about today's test. Marco counters that Eva broke protocol by disclosing details, but she fires back that Marco violated the rules by interfering mid-test. Marco orders Eva to wait outside. He tells Andris she's disappointed in his failure of the test, but then relents, handing him the list to maintain his cover. He instructs Andris to fake a breakup with Eva after reinstalling surveillance to create evidence. When Kulchar returns and hears their exchange, he concludes the test, declaring Andris passed. It's getting late, so Marco wants to go home immediately, but his driver says they must go to the headquarters first. When they arrive, Andris, Eva, and Kulchar are already waiting. There is a general evaluating the test results. He asks Marco about the exam, to which Marco responds that his team tested Andris many times and that he resisted every temptation, remained loyal to the agency, and passed with flying colors. The general then asks if Marco made any contact with Andris during the test, and Marco says no. The general then asks if he manipulated the test results in any manner, and Marco again says no. The general asks the same questions of Andris, who submits a tape recording of their conversation when Marco came to his apartment, clear proof that Marco interfered with the test. As it turns out, today's test wasn't only evaluating Andris, but also Marco. After listening to the tape, the general congratulates Andris on passing the test and promotes him to work in the internal affairs. He then tells Marco that he failed the test and he will be suspended from the agency. His position will be taken over by Kulchar. He then dismisses everyone. As they are leaving, Andris tells Marco, his teacher, that he is disappointed in him, but Marco doesn't say anything, gives him a death stare, and leaves. In the ending scene, Marco is at home with his wife, who has prepared an extra plate, expecting Andris to join them for dinner. But you know what happened.